Thanks for tuning in for Bible Bits today. Today we're going to be talking about music. Did you know at the beginning of creation the angels were singing at the foundation of the world, as it's told in Job 38? Tim Keller delves into this subject a little bit, and we'll let you comment below. Thanks for joining us.
I don't really believe it, but when I hear the music, I have to believe it. Why would this be? Why would music have this incredible power to give us meaning? Why does music have the ability? Why is music so meaningful? Well, nobody really can explain how. But the Bible, I think, can explain why it is. Because in Job chapter 38, God says to Job, "When I laid the foundations of the earth, the stars and the angels sang for joy." And in Proverbs 8, we're told that when God was creating the world in wisdom, the beings, the angels who were watching, essentially danced and sang for joy. When the Spirit was moving across the face of the waters, therefore, and was, just Genesis 1-2, and was bringing order out of chaos, there was music. Music is a witness to the reality that life is not random, that this is not an accident, that there is a God of love and peace and joy behind everything, including your life. And one of the most interesting passages in the whole Bible about music is in, believe it or not, Deuteronomy 31, verse 19. In Deuteronomy 31, verse 19, God has just made a covenant with Israel. But God knows that our human hearts want to forget him. We want to move away from him. We don't want to believe in him. So here's what he says to Moses. Get this. He says, "Now write down this song I am giving you and teach it to the Israelites and have them sing it, so that it may be a witness for me against them." First of all, we're told here God's a composer. God says to Moses, "I'm giving you a song, write it down. This is my song." But why does he want the Israelites to sing it? Because it will be a witness for me against them. What? He knows we don't want to believe in him. He knows that our hearts go astray. But when we sing great music, it's a witness. Music is rooted in the reality of God, and all great music is a witness to that reality. It's a witness telling us there really is a God. Life is meaningful. You are not a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury signifying nothing. That's the power of music, to evangelize us about the good news that there is a God who is a creator, and that we have purpose and there is meaning in life. But that's what all music does do. In fact, if you're a musician and you play your music well, whether you believe in God or not, you're evangelizing. You're telling people the good news that there's something meaning in life, that we're not here just by an accident. You're giving meaning to people. However, that's what music does. It always tells people the good news about God as creator. But there's something music can do, but not necessarily, but it can do it if we use it right. And that is, music can also tell us the good news about God's redemption. Not just about God's creation, but redemption. Not just telling us, like, see, at one level, Ashley Kahn and Leonard Bernstein were hearing, the good news that there is a God, but there's another level at which music can operate. So, for example, Anne Lamott, in her book Traveling Mercies, tells about her spiritual journey, how she really found faith in Christ. And to put it mildly, there was a time in which she was not sympathetic to Christianity. That's putting it very mildly. She couldn't stand Christianity. She didn't want to darken the doorway of a church, and she couldn't stand to listen to a sermon. And yet there was a church near, I guess, where she worked or lived, that just sang great gospel music. And she said she kept on hearing this glorious noise coming out of this ramshackle building. And finally she started to come in, and she started to sing. And before she could ever bear to even sit through an entire sermon, she sang. And she says this. She says, "Something inside me that was stiff and rotting would feel soft and tender. Somehow the singing wore down all the boundaries and distinctions that kept me so isolated. Sitting there, standing with them to sing, sometimes so spiritually shaky and sick that I felt like I might tip over, I began to feel bigger than myself." See, as I sang God's praises, I began to feel bigger than myself, like I was being taken care of, like I was being tricked into coming back to life. God was tricking me through the music. Before she could ever bear to sit through a sermon, the music began to tell her not just about God's creation and his reality, but God's redemption and his salvation.
Isn't that amazing? People who are on the verge of committing suicide, yet the glory of God, his music, not a sermon, not a word, not the 4 spiritual laws, not a guy going out and evangelizing on the street. The music reached the soul, and the soul came in and responded. Because who was drawing? God the Father was drawing that person in, saying there is hope, there is joy, there is life. That's what Jesus is all about. See, the devil comes to kill, rob, and destroy. But Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to me except the Father draws him. No man comes to the Father but through him. Well, leave your comments below. Thanks again for joining us. Hit subscribe. If you need a prayer, let us know. We'll be praying for you.